Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is for those people who have their natal Pluto in the 11th house. As I was going through my list of all the videos I've done on Pluto in the houses, I realized I had left out the 11th house because it kind of seemed like a weird placement for Pluto. The 11th house is the house of friendships and group associations. And Pluto here, it seemed like kind of a strange bedfellows with the 11th house. And it's also your dreams, your goals in life. And it can be, it's a humanitarian house. So it can be like if you're volunteering, if you have causes that you're emotionally invested in, if you believe very strongly in helping people with certain causes or helping the animals, saving the whales, things like that. So because this is the house of friendships and groups, a person with Pluto in this house may have been bullied by others growing up, because Pluto can indicate some kind of trauma. And you may have experienced trauma from a group for some reason. And of course, this can be for many different reasons. But this can be, that one experience can also, of course, lead to other things. I want to give a shout out to Advanced Astrology, advancedastrology.com. And actually, they even mentioned that this could be a sign of social anxiety if other factors in your chart support it. I didn't know exactly where they were going with that. My feeling is just if you experienced any kind of trauma from people ganging up on you when you're younger or something like that, then I can see that could be the case. And that would be enough to cause social anxiety. So this can be the kind of person that feels like they're always on the outside looking in. So, when you're thinking about a group, you're thinking about the collective. And there are always people who feel like outcasts. And they can, for whatever reason. And that might have been how you felt. And, part of belonging, part of the group dynamic is a sense of belonging. And if you don't have that, and it doesn't really matter why, but if you just don't have it, then there's that sense that you don't belong. And so that can be, and Pluto can be obsessive. And so it can be a very strange situation because, for instance, I think if you are an air sign, like a Libra or an Aquarius, this is the house that Aquarius rules in the universal chart, or a Gemini, more of the extroverted and signs that like to socialize a lot, maybe a fire sign. This may be particularly traumatic for you to not feel like you belong, and you might even be obsessed with the issue, because Pluto can indicate obsession, like how can I gain this acceptance? A sign like Libra always wants that kind of acceptance. But when you are in a group, even if you were accepted, you might still feel lonely. And another thing that can happen, and maybe this even happens early on, like in childhood, unknowingly, you may be a bit of a dictator. You might be controlling towards friends or social contacts, and then they're naturally turned off to you because, again, with this controlling is a quest for power. So whether we're talking about children or adults, when somebody is trying to dominate the situation, that's going to be a turnoff to people. And they're going to be like, I don't want to play with this kid. I don't want to hang around this person. And so that can actually be a self-perpetuating, like a vicious cycle. Now, I think that these more challenging situations are likely if you have hard angles to Pluto. Also, watch out for frenemies. Watch out for people who really aren't supportive of you, really maybe trying to undermine you, manipulate you, like coerce you. Again, they may exhibit the Plutonian aspects against you where they're trying to control you. So choose your friends wisely, especially if your sun is in Pisces or your moon is in Pisces, where you have a tendency to be influenced by the company that you keep, more so than perhaps another sign. Be aware of these kinds of things so that you don't fall prey to them. And if you have, you may be attracted to people who are also strong. So because you have Pluto in this house, you may be attracted to Scorpionic type of people yourself. Pluto, along with Mars, rules the sign of Scorpio. So I put down here goth and macabre subjects. So, for instance, when I was in high school, the this was in the early 80s, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show, even though that came out in the 70s, was still big, and this was when the punk movement was getting more mainstream. But there were people who liked to dress like that, and dress in all in black, or all these things that were kind of goth, scorpionic. And these kinds of things are not, exclusive to one era. I was even reading somebody's autobiography, and even in the 60s, there were people who were interested in more of the dark side, like, because I've always been a Doors fan. And they said, some people are into the Doors more than the Beatles because they just like that kind of intensity. So anyway, if you find somebody who's like you, or people who are like you, and you know how it is, like especially like in high school, where it's a clique and everybody dresses in that group kind of in a similar way. So you may fall in with those kinds of people. And I'm sure even if you're listening and you're 17 years old, there's probably like a goth type of group in your high school. I'm sure they might wear black lipstick or something. Black lipstick and all kinds of dark eye makeup and stuff like that. Black clothing. And the interesting thing is that you can really become a powerful leader, especially if you have friendly angles to Pluto. And you may have charisma. So you might be one of those leaders that has a following. Well, obviously, if you're a leader, you're going to have people following you. And the thing is, are you going to exploit that? Because it may be your dream come true to have people following you. Now, let's say that you are a YouTuber, or you are an actor or something like that. That may just increase the likelihood of, they didn't say this, but I think that this could increase the likelihood of being a celebrity. Actually, the 11th house is connected to movies and things like that, because it's connected to technology and also the group. So even the internet is connected to the 11th house. So this can even be somebody I could see who has an obsession with becoming, famous online or something like that and having a big following or whatever. But other things that are of a more positive nature, um, this can indicate wealth because Pluto has it. Pluto is connected to money, and I confess I don't know exactly why. I think it has to do with power, and and in the world, money equals power. But the 11th house can indicate money that you're earning. I mean, that the wealth that you accumulate from, what you earn. And if Pluto is an aspect to Jupiter, so you would have to know what your Jupiter sign is and the degrees and all of that, it can indicate wealth. So you can check that out. Also, and they didn't say whether it was a friendly or a hard angle to Jupiter. Jupiter, sometimes that might be because Jupiter is such a positive influence that even if it aspects a planet in a challenging way, it still will bring blessings. Who knows? Maybe that's what it is, because I think that's how it works. And if you have hard angles to Pluto, this can indicate earning money by any means necessary. That's how I put it. But in other words, that Pluto is the lord of the underworld, and so I was really surprised that I didn't see anything about having friends who were like gangstas or anything like that, or the mob, belonging to the mob, or maybe because I think that could be what happens too. Now, this may be something that is just the product of your environment. If you live in an area, and I'm saying for both of those things, not just for associating with gang members, but also, mob or the children of mobsters. I actually live in an area where, some famous mobsters have lived. Chicago, of course, but even the suburbs of Chicago. Some famous mobsters have resided there. And so the thing is that how I feel about that is sometimes just by virtue of where you live, you might be rubbing shoulders with people, and I'm talking about even when you're young, who are involved in, a criminal network. And you might not be, but you just happen to be friends with some of those people. Now, one thing that they did mention is that you might be belong to a secret society. So Illuminati confirmed. No, I'm just kidding. A secret society. And I was thinking about like when I was a kid, and I think this is just part of being a kid, where they would have like, this is our secret club or something like that. So that might have been especially appealing to you, to have like a secret club with all these friends in it that belonged, and you had a secret, password or something. Let me see what else. If you have friendly angles, especially to Pluto, you may have loyal friends, trines or sextiles to Pluto. So that might be good. Well, I think that I have talked about this extensively, and I'm glad that I was able to do that, because I didn't think I was going to be able to say much of anything. So I hope that this resonated and that you enjoyed it. If you would like a personal reading, the link is below. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.